morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Whatever the listeners want it to be.
Yeah, welcome to another episode of Chasin Birdies. How are you?
Doing well, buddy. Doing well. All I know is that we're getting closer and closer to the golf season. So I am extremely excited.
Yeah, you know, right now the grass is definitely greener. The temps are warmer.
Mm-hmm.
Member guest is right around the corner, man.
It is.
And I know you are really nervous.
Big member guest guy here. Love the member guests. Just love the swag.
Mm-hmm.
Cigars, the booze, everything. It's just member guest week of any country club is the best.
You're a professional member guester. You're a professional guest.
I consider myself lucky.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're all lucky, I guess, in some way, shape, or form. And I'll tell you what, our next guest today is lucky. He is grateful. He's a very well-rounded spiritual man and pipes.
He can sing. And he's very, very talented in the country music scene. He explains a little bit about what's been going on in his life as of lately, and working hard and trying to get it back.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, the health situation that has come up abruptly, but you know, it's kind of crazy how that happened, and then COVID kind of happened.
Mm-hmm.
So touring in general for these guys was shelved.
Last week's episode with Tyler Reeve, you can tell these guys, they're just golfing. They got so much time right now that they're golfing, and they're writing along of songs. They're trying to touch up their skills in the studio, and there's no touring going on, but I think we're closer.
Definitely. And like you said today, I mean, we're not here to talk COVID shots, but I think it's probably a good thing to have just because of what the government may do, you know, especially with concerts. I mean, I heard in May, there's a concert in Nashville that you're going to have to be fully vaccinated to go. Yeah, it's happening.
So take care of yourselves, people. That's all we wanted to touch on the COVID.
Yeah. So Drake White will be joining us today. And for those of you who have not had a chance to listen to Drake White, the guy is an absolute magical singer behind the mic. And he is a passionate golfer, although he's probably not done too much golfing as of late. But
that's how we met him.
Yeah.
We met him through golf. And again, everything comes back to golf.
It does. So I think all y'all will enjoy this episode with Drake. And I think we're ready to just roll right into this. What do you say?
Let's roll.
As you all know by now, Chasin Birdies is proud to be partners with Holderness and Bourne. Check them out online at hbgolf.com. Holderness and Bourne makes fabulous pieces that help you look good on the course, even if your game is not up to par. Check out their new arrivals now for this golf season. Also, head on over to chasinbirdies.com to get some custom Chasin Birdie gear from Holderness and Bourne. We'll continue to drop these pieces through every season. That's chasinbirdies.com and Holderness and Bourne at hbgolf.com. This guy has incredible talent, vocal cords like no other, and I've even seen him swing the golf club a couple times too. And man, he can really hit the ball.
He hits it a long way when he catches it.
Yeah, when he catches it.
But his singing is unbelievable.
Yeah. So let's roll right to him here. Drake White, Nashville. You there, Drake?
What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
We're doing great. How are you?
Man, I can't complain about a thing. The sun's out here in Music City, and that's a good thing. We're listening to some birds. I can feel spring coming. So
I can't wait for that.
It's a good thing, man. It's a good day to be alive, for sure.
I said that this morning, Drake. I said, you know what? I woke up. It was a little gray and rainy here, but I said, it's a great day to be alive. Thank the big man above.
Yeah, I think I've gotten pretty good at that here lately. You know, getting I think you got it, the tiger by the tail, if that's how you start the day every day.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, so, Drake, let's get into how we actually met, which is kind of funny. I think that we met through EJ and out of Nashville, a good friend of ours that played hockey for the Nashville Predators. Introduced me to EJ. EJ called me and said, hey, I got some guys that want to play a little bit of golf. I think you guys were going over to Charlotte for an event. And first thing I met you, I woke up you guys walked upstairs in the house in North Carolina and introduced ourselves, and we've been friends ever since. And
Yeah.
I think that's what golf does. It brings people together, all walks of life. Again, we never met, and now we're still friends to this day. I mean, it's pretty cool. There's not too many things in this world that you can meet somebody. You might meet somebody at a bar, and then you say your hello and go away and never talk again. But in the golf course, it really brings people together.
Yeah, man. I couldn't agree more. EJ is a connector, and those people connect. But when you give a commitment for an 18-holer on a Saturday, you're gonna get to know somebody, or you're gonna get to know me, and because I'm not really gonna hold anything back, So it's just one of those. It's one of the purest forms of, hey, what's up, dude? I'm Drake, and man, I've got some lifelong friends that I've met the same way that I know through the great sport of golf.
It's truly unbelievable because you can play it at any age. You can suck at it, you can be good at it, but you know what?
Yeah.
The beers go down the same way, and the tee shots, we'll find them eventually.
Yeah, man.
So from there, I actually came out to Charlotte that night to watch your concert, and that was the first time that I ever saw you perform. And let me tell the listeners, if you have not heard Drake White, you need to go check him out because he is unbelievable. The guy has so much passion for what he does, and he puts on a show. Where does that come from, Drake? I mean, to get up every night, perform, you got to love what you do.
Yeah. I mean, I think it stems from my roots in Alabama. Growing up, I was always had this beat on pots and pans, Huckleberry Finn type of freedom to do whatever the hell I wanted to do. I mean, my mom was a cosmetologist. My dad worked at Goodyear, and it was like, hey, grip it and rip it, man.
Mm-hmm.
If it was water skiing, lean back on it and let it rip. If
Right.
It was chasing a girl, go after her, kiss that girl, ask her to dance, And if it's ramping, motorcycles or whatever, like get out there and hit the jump wide open. Don't half-ass it.
Mm.
And I think that's the way. That's the reason my golf is the way it is. That's the reason it hooks, and and that's okay because I just like to go after it, and my passion comes from that. I guess asking forgiveness, not permission type of mentality that my parents and really the men in my life raised me with, and the women, but the men for sure, they were like, go for it, dude.
Yeah.
You got it. You're the man. You're awesome. You're good looking. You can dance. You can swing. Just do it.
No, and that's the truth. So kind of what you say is you have a entrepreneurial spirit behind you, right? So you're musically inclined. You had to take what you've been God-given and project that out there to the universe so that people can recognize and people can hear you. And that takes effort. And I think kind of this whole Chasin Birdies approach is, granted, we're talking about golf and literally chasing birdies on a golf course, but in life, we want to kind of connect to people who are out there chasing birdies in their own world, so to speak. So we're able to dial it back on a golf kind of scale, but in reality, in your world, you're doing it, man, and you've done it. I think that's really something that's commendable.
Thank you. Well, I think it's a great name because to chase a birdie, you have to take a risk. At some point in the hole or some point of the match, you have to take a risk to put a birdie on the card.
That's it.
Sometimes it comes easy. Sometimes it's impossible. Sometimes you have a string of bogeys, and which I would consider the last 2 years of my life, which we'll get into, I'm sure, a string of bogeys, or double bogeys, triple bogeys even, because in no control of my own, I couldn't have done anything about it. But chasing a birdie requires a risk, and I think this pandemic, I think that sometimes can test a man's confidence, and I think confidence is a big thing. It's one of the biggest things. Like if you approach life with confidence, like you said earlier, Bash, like, hey, I got up and thank God today was a good day.
Yeah.
Well, if you get up with that confidence that today's going to be a good day, well, you're probably going to close deals. You're probably going to have a little bit happier and better of life. And that's where the entrepreneurial spirit comes in. Like, I want to give. I want to be the lender, not the borrower. I want to give to people and help people. And that's where the entrepreneurship comes in. I think the word's overused, but I think that mentality is something that I'm very, very proud of. It. The conqueration or whatever you want to call it between my ears, like you can't beat me between my ears.
No,
I'm pretty stainless steel there. Like, and I attribute that to my wife, who's my biggest fan. You know, my parents, and the proximity is power. You know, the group of people that I hang around that are constantly stoking that fire and giving me that confidence to chase a birdie or to chase a note, to chase a
Yep.
song, you know, or to chase a business endeavor, you know.
Getting back to that note, when did you realize that, hey, you can make a profession out of being in the entertainment industry and being a singer and a professional songwriter? You know, when did that kind of eclipse and come to your realization that, hey, this is something that I'm doing, I can do?
It was somewhere I graduated from Auburn in 2007.
We'll talk about that. I love it. We got some stories with you.
And Auburn's a super organic, you know, flannel wearing, you know, whiskey drinking, just juicy town. It's Southern and it's awesome. And it was literally that confidence, that Huckleberry Finn type of freedom that I was gave the right to do by my parents. They asked me, a buddy of mine was down on his luck and needed some money. I was like, hey man, let's go. You can sing. I've heard you sing. And I had sang around some campfires and just trying to, you know, to get girls and stuff like that. But I hadn't really, and I knew a couple of chords on the guitar. But he goes, man, I'm broke. And I said, first of all, man, never admit that you're broke, ever. Why in the world? You'll never get a girl. You'll never, like, you can't walk around saying that. What are you talking about? And he's like, man, let's go get some Martin guitars and go get a PA on a stick and start playing some shows. And I was like, cool, let's do it. And what he meant was, why don't you go front me my guitar? I can play guitar, and why don't you front me the PA? And we did. And we started in a cul-de-sac, dude. And actually, it's a long story. We got the cops called on us in that cul-de-sac because everybody parties in trailer parks at Auburn. And we ended up at, the cop was pretty cute, and I was hitting on her. And she said, my friend owns Wings to Go up the road. Like, why don't we just call him and see if y'all can play up there? Because y'all sound good. And I'm like, you dang right, we sound good. Whatever. So we start playing at Wings to Go, and 3 years later, you know, we were still playing every Saturday night. And dude, we were making money. And I realized when some of the football team and some of the gymnastics team and the swim team at Auburn's killer, and baseball guys, and, you know, just 150 people were showing up on Saturday night in this little bar to listen to Dixieland Delight. Mm-hmm. And then I started, you know, kind of jotting down and making up songs, and the freestyle version was born. You know, me just kind of spitting over the top of a Martin guitar beat, you know, became this like infectious thing. And I started like really kind of thinking of my own, and I was like, I'm moving to Nashville and chasing this, man.
Amen.
I'd never written a song when I moved to Nashville.
Well, and that's back to the Chasin Birdies. I mean, you were going to chase the dream of being a country musician.
Yeah.
So you moved to Nashville. What happens next?
Well, I moved and didn't really know anybody. Moved in with my buddy's sister-in-law. You know, I'm from the great state of Alabama, and in no way is this next statement like, I learned so much by this, but she was a lesbian, and I moved in with her in East Nashville and started going, like, hanging with her and wine bars and stuff like that. And East Nashville's super hipster. It's like the hipster area. They say we'll steal your heart and your lawnmowers. In East Nashville, like 37189 or whatever. Now that is 37206 or something. But I kind of started coming in and meeting people, and that the skill set my greatest skill that I learned in Auburn was not engineering. It was communication and how to walk up to somebody and say, "Hey, man, what's going on?" Or, "Hey, my friend, what's your name? What are you doing?" And that's what I started doing in Nashville, and started playing at Losers, which is a bar that's completely changed now. I mean, it's huge, but when I was playing there, it was only about 25, 30 people. It was me and John Party and, a couple of buddies.
Is that now Winners and Losers?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we started playing there from 10 to 2 on Mondays.
Wow.
Me and Bobby Johnson and John Party, and nobody said anything, man.
That's crazy.
I mean, I'm up there just doing our thing and rocking it. And looking back on it, it's because we wasn't really good yet. We were good, but we wasn't really worth signing a deal over.
It's definitely a fine line. Like you're saying in Auburn, you're a rock star, right? And then you get to Nashville, and you're like, what the hell?
Well, let me bust up a statement that people say all the time. Oh man, you get to Nashville, everybody plays, everybody sings.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something. Like, everybody is not great in Nashville. People that say, yeah, you can go down on like, if you're on Broadway, you're probably pretty good. I mean, you've got chops, you've got a pretty decent thing, but do you have a thing? Do you have a swagger that sets you apart from every Tom, Dick, and Harry? I don't know that statement is true, that everybody plays and everybody sings in Nashville. They do, but, well, I would beg to differ that,
questionable.
That it's questionable. Like, when somebody's got that special sauce, and we just hadn't developed it yet,
So you get all situated in Nashville, and then after you started playing at Losers, when was the turning point when you got you signed your first record deal?
Well, I stuck in there for about 3 or 4 years, from 7, 8, 9, and 10. And really, when I decided to kind of tie myself to the whipping post, I call it, there was this Tuesday night thing called Alabama Line, and Jamie Johnson had just got Song of the Year and was getting popular. People like Randy Houser and Lee Brice were bouncing around town, and they had some success. And I was like, man, I can do this. I know what I'm capable of. I can do this. And October the 28th of 2011, Brett, my booking agent to this day, who is really the only remaining standard in my OG crew, like the original crew, that guy walked into Blue Bar, which was across from, which it's closed down now, but which was across from Losers, and asked me if I wanted to tour with Willie Nelson. And I was like, man, you're so full of shit.
Wow.
And he was like, man, I'm from Alabama. I'm from Dothan, Alabama. I'm not. I work for CAA. There's this tour coming up. It's called the Throwdown Tour. And, well, let me back up. I'm sorry. That was after this random, and this is going to be a little long, but it's important, guys.
Bring it. We're
here for the rest of the day, so go.
I'm playing in Blue Bar, which is a kind of a shady, a little bit of a shady bar, across the street from Losers. And I start talking to my buddies, Channing Wilson, Dave Kennedy, these guys, and I start saying, dude, we need to do something consistently. That's the entrepreneur in me, right? So we start doing Alabama Line, which the late Wayne Mills, Jamie Johnson, and a couple other guys had started. Well, I said, I want to do Alabama Line. I'm from Alabama, and just get a bunch of Alabama buddies up here and just guys in the South. Like, Alabama Line meant everybody that touched, basically the Southeast. And it didn't matter where you were from, it was just, Tommy Two-Tone played a couple of nights, he was part of that thing. So it was just an eclectic group of guys. And I remember thinking, dude, if I play this thing every Tuesday night, through the cools, through the not cools, through the ins, through the outs, like, I'm going to make something. I'm going to do something. And I started writing songs, and I wrote a song called 50 Years Too Late. And I started singing that song at Alabama Line. And you would get a slot, like a 15, 20-minute slot. You play 3 or 4 songs, and then go to the next person. And we'd basically play our songs and cut our teeth. And we did that every Tuesday night. And a bunch of my buddies were like, I'm not going to do it every Tuesday. I'll do it this date. I said, I'm going to do it every Tuesday. And I made myself kind of a staple of that thing. I made it, my night.
Yeah.
It was everybody's night, but I was going to be there regardless,
Well, and that's the thing. For someone like you who's trying to make it, if you miss one of those Tuesdays and
I could miss what I'm about to tell you.
Exactly. Yep. And that's again, dedication. You wanted to be there every Tuesday because you never know. You never know. I mean, I never knew I was going to meet you, man. Bash never knew he was going to meet you, but we're here and we're good friends and we're here to talk about it.
For sure.
And that speaks to also your work ethic because you are one of the hardest workers. I mean, again, we'll have beers before the concert and everything, Bash and I, and you're focused and you will not have a cold one until after the show. And part of that's because it's your job, right? It's your career, it's your life. And, and boys, were those shows you were putting on. So,
well, that changed, but that, like, I'll have one every now and then. Sometimes I go on these kicks where I won't. Sometimes I do. It just depends on where my mindset is. But so that night, back to playing every night, tie myself to Tuesday night. I'm playing. There may be 20 people in this bar, and it's smoky. You can still smoke in there, which I thought was cool. And we're in there freaking putting out a vibe, like
you're vibing.
I'm up against the bar, we've got a couple of chicks in there, a couple of guys, and we're talking about songs that we had written and talking about things that we'd done, just like Willie and Waylon would have done, or any of our heroes,
Mm-hmm.
And my slot comes up, and I get up and stomp a damn hole through the stage every Tuesday. Like, that's just where Drake White Stomp came from, was like,
there it is.
I just got there and started jamming. And a guy by the name of Jeremy Stover walks in with Jamie Paulin and Jamie Paulin's wife. And the story goes that they were across the street at Losers. And Jamie, back in his hell-raising days, was very privy to going over to the Blue Bar and, raising a little bit too much hell. And his then wife, it's his wife now too. She said, the only way I'm going out for one more drink is if we go to the Blue Bar. And they were like, what? The Blue Bar? Nobody goes to the Blue Bar. But guess who was over there stomping a hole through the stage?
Oh, Jay.
Oh, man.
And so they walk in, and they've got 10, 12 beers in their bloodstream. They're feeling good. They're feeling 10 feet tall. And they walk in, and I'm denim on denim with a trucker hat on, stomping a hole through the stage, screaming, I was born 50 years too late. And Jeremy Stover has produced Justin Moore and all these guys. He's doing well. And he's like, what is this? And he said that there were 2 people on their Blackberries. I'm dating this, so this is 2011, 12. Said they're on their Blackberries, they're freaking rocking and rolling, and they're producers in there. And he's like, oh, this guy's working with these guys, I bet. Said they got up and they walked out. So after that, we had a couple of beers because a guy's wife, and God threw it in the stars that night for Jeremy Stover to walk in. I met everybody in Nashville, and that's exactly how it went. And I got 6 record deal offers. I got a publishing deal. I got a tour with Willie Nelson and Jamie Johnson and Randy Houser. Met Lee Bryce. Met, one of my best buddies, Brent Cobb. And it was over, dude. And it was because of one night I decided to show up every Tuesday night.
There you go.
And dig through it. I didn't care if it was the place to be. I was going to make it the place to be. You know what I mean?
Well, you made it the place to be, but now fast forward a little bit. When I first heard of Drake White, this would be probably early 2016, late 15. And, I think one of the first songs I heard was The Simple Life and Back to Free, which was a live version.
Well, real quick, Drake, this is one of my favorite stories that he tells. How did you come up with Back to Free?
So, brother Phil Pence, that used to play bass with me, he's got, he's like 6'5", 6'6", and he's got giant hands and giant feet. He's like, where's his son?
He's massive.
And his son was like 5 or 6 years old and learned how to ride a bicycle and kick the training wheels off. And there was this picture, and it's on the front of my album Spark. There was a picture, and he had a Superman cape on and a pair of Incredible Hulk gloves on, like a Mohawk helmet on his head, and cowboy boots on. And like this 7-year-old was truly in the moment. He had just learned how to ride a bicycle with no training wheels, right? So that's what we're after, no matter if we're chasing birdies or if we're chasing songs or we're chasing women, if we're chasing whitetails through the backwoods of Alabama. We're chasing freedom. And that's what everybody's chasing.
Exactly.
Is they just want to be free, whether it be from addiction or whether it be from oppression or chains or, red or yellow, black or white. Like it don't matter race. They're all chasing freedom. That's all we want. And so this kid rolling down this hill just inspired this song with Randy Montana, who has 5 number ones in the last 18 months right now.
That's crazy.
He's just killing it. We just got in my living room in East Nashville and said, "Man, I want to channel that 7-year-old that's just learned how to ride a bicycle with no training wheels." So that's the plywood ramp, stacked 3 bricks high type of lingo that you hear in that.
Right.
Yeah, that song. When I first heard that song, that did it for me. Fast forward a little bit more. Now you get to tour with the likes of Zach Brown Band, who we watched y'all play with. What was that? 18, 17?
17.
And, so your music career kind of escalated rather quickly, I would say. Would you agree to that?
No. In terms of quickly is relative, but yeah, I mean, it was like there were so many things that had to happen between Jeremy Stover walking in the Blue Bar and me opening up for Zach Brown. There was a lot of things that had to happen. I mean, that was 3 or 4 years, and that's a lot of I played in a lot of bars. I played for a lot of fraternities and a lot of 150 to 200 date years. That's what I was playing through that time. And
yeah, it's not overnight. It's like a mini tour player. I mean, you have these mini tour golfers that play golf for 11 years on the mini tours, and then it's just that 2-3 weeks that they get hot, and now they're on the PGA Tour, and then who knows what happens. It takes a lot of skill and a little bit of luck too. And part of your luck was being in the right spot at the right time, going there every Tuesday.
Yeah, well, I mean, for me, to relate it to those guys that get hot for 2 or 3 weeks, to get hot for 3 weeks and you win a tournament, or God forbid 2, then you're on the PGA Tour. For me, it's always been that, the song. We're chasing songs because one song, whether it be a instance where, it's a chicken fried type situation where, dude, it's one song and 6 months goes by. You've been laying pipe for 10 years, for 12 years in every shithole dive bar everywhere. And you get a team behind it, you get some money behind it, and get a label behind, or it don't even have to be a label anymore, but it's like a song. It's one song. It all starts with one song, one swing, one thing, and then, it was all over. And I'm talking about Zach, with that. I mean, he's putting 30,000 people in venues, but all the stuff leading up to that, all the midnight sweats of drop record deals. Like I've been dropped from 2 different record deals, had a stroke, had people tell me I couldn't do it, went in, they basically funded my whole, I've funded records. I've lost the record. I've lost money. I've gained money. I've won money. I've had money given to me. I've had medical bills paid off. I've had medical bills pile up. I've had people say that I was the best thing ever, and then the next day, I've played shows in John Belushi's house. I've been up, nearly up for the Grammys Artist of Tomorrow, and then you come through, lose a record deal, and I've been all the way down to the whole left side of my body now. So it is a roller coaster ride, man. And if I didn't have my faith and what that confidence that we talked about at the beginning of the PCast is like, if I didn't have that structure and that cornerstone, which is for me is Christ and my belief in that, I wouldn't say, I'm not sitting up here trying to say that I'm overly, religious, but that faith is what got me through all that. And it has been tumultuous, to say the least.
Yeah. I mean, you've had your ups and downs, and, let's talk about one of your downs, and I wouldn't even consider it a down, but a year and a half ago, an incident in your life happened, and you want to walk us through what exactly happened? So
I was training. We were about to go back on tour with Zach and go to Australia and Europe, and I got a headache, and that headache put me in an MRI machine. MRI showed that I had a massive veins and arteries in the back right side of my brain, about the size of a lime, and that lime was called an AVM, and I was born with it, and that wad of veins and arteries was robbing adequate blood flow to the rest of my body, and it needed to be taken care of. How that they wanted to take care of it was glue it shut through a series of these things called embolization. And my doctor's name was Dr. Miracle, really.
That's unbelievable.
And my neurosurgeon's name. And he said, man, I think we can get rid of this thing with a series of 6 surgeries. And, dude, you can perform up to 48 hours. Give it a second to rest the next day. But I literally think you, with this blood pressure medicine, and as long as we monitor it and you feel all right, you can perform the next day. So that's all I needed to hear. So I go out there and start performing, end up performing 25, 30 shows through June, July, and August. And we have 75, 80% of the AVM embolized, 4 surgeries in. And I go to Roanoke, Virginia, and jump on the horse in Roanoke to start playing a show. And about 4 songs into the show, I heard a loud pop. And that loud pop was that AVM rupturing, causing the equivalent to a hemorrhagic stroke on stage. And thank God I was on stage, because I was in the spotlight and there was medical staff there, and I was rushed to the hospital, and that's why I'm still standing here today.
Right.
But ultimately, it resulted in the paralysis of my whole left side, my left arm, my left hand, left foot. I had to teach myself how to walk through 40 days and 40 nights in rehab, and had to. And I'm in the process of relearning how to play guitar right now.
That's what people don't understand. When people go through things like this, you want, knock on wood, I've never had anything happen like this, but it's almost, you want to give up, right? And you've hung in there, and this is a testament to you. Again, I keep going back to these Tuesdays, but you're always going to show up, and you're always going to show up for your rehab, or you're never going to give up. And that's part of the reason, Ryan and I respect you so much, is no matter how down and out you are, you're never going to give up.
Yeah. And I can hit a 370-yard drive.
Amen.
On a simulator.
On a simulator. I mean, come on, bud. So this happens, and now you want to tell the listeners a little bit about the Big Fire Fund and how we can help out?
Yeah. I mean, it's, we're rocking. We're doing these Wednesday night therapy sessions in our barn. I built the barn, and we're coming up on our year anniversary and through Venmo and PayPal, those donations have literally went straight into my guys' funds, because it's not necessarily me. I mean, yeah, I've got medical bills, and yeah, I mean, I'm highly blessed, man, with what we've been able to accomplish. And yes, we have substantial medical bills, but that Wednesday night has basically saved my life, because I have to play. Like, I want to play, and I want to be out there. My guys want to be out there, but the pandemic is exactly what I needed.
Yeah.
Because the good Lord knew I'd go out there and Katie bar the door. I'd be like trying to climb stuff and fall off, and to my death, I guess.
Yeah.
But it was like he knew. So in a way, the pandemic was something that it compounded on top of my already 8-month hiatus from touring and playing. But it's something that the pandemic, something that ultimately has been a good thing. So we're playing every Wednesday night. We on our socials, on Drake White Stomp or Drake White on Facebook or YouTube, and it's just awesome. So through that, we've been able to pay our bills, to pay these things, to get new partners and partnership going. I mean, it's I've written some of the best songs I've ever written in the last 6 months, and then we did a 501c3, which is the Big Fire Fund, and I basically take the money in the Big Fire Fund and disperse it to people in need. I don't even I paid some bills with it, of course, when we needed it, but we've also done tornado relief with it. We've done, there's so much need around Nashville once you kind of tap into that musical group. So it's the Big Fire Fund, and y'all can pop that up on your screens. But check Wednesday night stuff, and just, we're about to start touring again. We've got some shows booked. Just come see us. Come see us. Support live music.
Oh, I can't wait.
Get out.
I can't wait for live music.
And maybe what we'll do, we'll tie in with the listeners, is maybe we'll do a little meet and greet with you, buddy, when you're back on the road, because I'm sure people want to meet you and listen to your songs. Ryan's got some comments.
You definitely want to give Drake a follow, Drake White Stomp on Instagram, for you folks out there that have Instagram. I don't have Facebook, so I'm not quite sure what it is on Facebook, but Drake White Stomp is his Instagram handle. And I was actually going to discuss a little bit about the Wednesday night therapy sessions. I saw that it was coming up on a year, and I'd be lying if I said I've tuned into more than 3, but at the end of the day, I do see kind of what you're throwing out there. And I enjoy at least seeing the promotion of that, because like you said, you need that, not only just from a monetary standpoint, but that's your soul, man. You need to play music to keep ticking.
Yeah. I don't do it because, somebody walked into Blue Bar and I had the opportunity to have record deals and all that stuff. It's like, it is exactly like breathing. Writing songs and expressing myself that way is a must. That's the way I express it, and that's why we call it Wednesday night therapy, because it's just that. It has made me heal, and I didn't ask permission to do that. Everybody was scrambling, wondering what we were going to do during this pandemic, and I just told my guys, I said, I know exactly what I'm going to do. Yep. I'm going to plug up just like I did at Blue Bar, 5, 6, 7 years ago, and I'm going to play every Wednesday night, whether it's cool or not, whether it's funded or not, whether it makes a lot of money or not. I'm going to play because people, I need this, and me and Alex need it, and it's she's been dealt a weird hand of cards with an autoimmune disorder as well. So these roller coaster rides I'm talking about, the valleys, for me, I want to talk about that mentality, because that's the TED Talk that I had the opportunity to do. It's titled "How Paralysis Helped Me Find My True 100%." Because until you get to a place where you are on your knees and you're praying and you realize that every day is a blessing, and you realize that, and I heard it till I was blue in the face when I was 15 and 16 and through my 20s. Nobody cares, man. Give me the stick. I want to grip it. I want to go. I want to rip.
Yep. Grip it and rip it.
I'm going to do that. Like, I haven't been able to play golf since the injury, guys. I mean, it's been really hard because, and I've went up there and I've swung some clubs, but I mean, that takes a lot of motor skills.
It does.
And,
yeah.
Energy.
Your hips, you don't realize. So now every time, and as me and Alex want to start a family, and every time I carry my kid or whatever, or take somebody golfing, when I do hit the ball again, it's going to be emotional. It's like anything. Playing my first shows was emotional. Riding a bike's going to be running again. I used to love to run, and I haven't really been able to run because I can't right now.
It's just the things that you take for granted in life you don't realize, right? Until something like that happens.
Yeah, and I think that's what this pandemic, I know that's what it's done for me. And I know that's what it's done for other people, but like, we're not going to take live music for granted.
No.
And I think from an entrepreneurial standpoint, it's done some great things for the business. And having me stripped back to the foundation.
Yep, the core.
Done a good thing for my business because, it's just great. The music business needed to be shook up.
It did.
Bad.
Well, we can't wait to play golf again and with you. And there's no doubt about it. You'll be back playing.
We're going to roll into the final segment of the episode here, which my partner will ask you a couple of questions. It's called the Tap In segment, and it's brought to everyone by 44 Concierge.
All right, guys. 44 Concierge is the premier concierge company for professional athletes or professionals. Started by current NHL veteran Nate Thompson, 44 makes sure that all the moving parts of an athlete's life are organized and handled. So you just worry about scoring the winning goal, singing that song, or draining that birdie putt. 44 makes sure their athletes enjoy more and worry less. So go check them out at 44concierge.com. All right, Drake, you ready?
Right.
Roll Tide or War Eagle?
Whew. Man, right off the bat. It's a long answer. Went to school at Auburn, graduated from Auburn, raised a big Alabama fan, loved their excellence, love what Nick Saban does. I got to say War Eagle.
All right. That's a surprise. But, hey.
I've seen you throw that toilet paper.
Yeah, man. That was a great time.
That was.
All right. Number 2, Willie Nelson.
Legend. Amazing, peace-oriented, like, zenned out dude that just cares about people. Mm-hmm. He genuinely cares about people, loves what he does. And, you always kind of look at him as a mentor, for sure. Glad to know him.
Yeah, and he gave you one of your first opportunities, so that's fantastic. All right.
He is great.
Number 3, the coolest venue that you have ever played at.
It's a toss-up between Red Rocks and the Gorge.
Wow. I said Red Rocks before he even asked you the question.
I thought it was going to be Fenway, but what do I know?
Woo! That was good. That Red Rock, man. I'm kind of a hippie. Like I'm a hippie cowboy, And I love Colorado for many, many reasons. But we played there with Willie in that big. It's just amazing. Being up there in God's creation was
surreal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. 4th and final question, Drake. Your dream foursome when you are back to playing golf, which we can't wait for. What is your dream foursome?
Man. Dream foursome would be alive or dead?
Anything. Anybody that you want.
Cool. Willie Nelson, Arnold Palmer, Tony Robbins, and me.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. Now,
that's a good group, man.
That's a pretty solid group, and I feel like that group would have a lot of fun.
Solid group.
I mean, I feel like there would be some vitamins going around.
Because when I think of that question, I think of like, you would get some major information, like really great. Because I think Arnie, that's a lot of wisdom.
Oh, yeah.
Willie, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
They're just all caring dudes that I think could partake. And like you said at the beginning, that could end up with a lifelong. I mean, all of them, but one, of course, could end up with a lot. I look at it as lifelong friendship after what you could accomplish after the golf round. You know?
Right. Yeah, for
that's
sure.
true.
So I don't want to put you on the spot, and if you don't feel comfortable doing it, you don't have to. But I mean, let's give the people a little bit of a breakdown of just a quick little throw together a few lines for us. You can make them up. Because I think this is where you're the most talented person.
So it'll be like, here comes spring after the long cold wind. I can't wait to swing that club. Can't wait to swing it again. Honey and old Mr. Willie, what you gonna do yet? I'm high as a pine tree in the Masters, 'cause ooh, I've got that rhythm deep inside my soul that you need to understand. I be chasing birdies, chasing songs, yes sir, yes ma'am. I got that rhythm deep in my soul. It don't matter what you do, as long as you grip it, lip it, my son, and keep on driving through. Oh, 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 oh. Hey.
I mean, and if that's not enough for you to go check him out, I don't know what is, people. Drake, thank you so much. That was awesome.
That was so awesome.
Thank y'all.
Man, how good was Drake there at the end with that freestyle?
That's what he's known for.
Yeah, I mean, on the spot, he was so creative in using Chasin Birdies within that, but what a great story, man. I mean, you talk about coming from Alabama, having to crack the Nashville music scene, given God-given talent. That was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
So I think for you listeners out there, we appreciate your support always in listening. And
always. The support has been, let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, now we dropped the episode, the Masters edition. Now we got this one dropped, and grateful for all the love. And I think people are starting to catch on.
It's a slow process, but we're here for the process.
And we're here to build it organically. I think looking ahead, listeners, we have an awesome episode. Our next guest episode is going to be dropping.
I mean, how many Hall of Famers have you guys talked to?
Yeah. The heart was pumping a little bit on that one, bud.
I was a little nervous.
Yeah.
I
mean, you spilled the beer all over my...
I spilled a duck hook all over Bash's cell phone, his boxers, which, funny enough, if you listen to the Masters episode, he doesn't wear pants.
Yeah.
So he was wet doing the interview with Annika from the beer. We had duck hook all over the place. The boys were a little nervous. We don't get like that very often, but you know what? It's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it is everything that you can imagine. She is the most down-to-earth woman. I mean, she's a Hall of Famer. She was in the Hall of Fame at 33 years old.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
33 years old, I'm still trying to figure life out.
Mm-hmm.